They say it is a river that circles the earth, a beam of light shining to the edge of the universe. It conquers all. It changes everything. They say it's a blessing. They say it's a gift. They say it's a miracle, and I believe that it is. It conquers all, but it's a mystery. Now, this particular, lines come from one of my favorite songs. It's called Love Is by Vanessa Williams and Brian McKnight. Now, the reason why I chose this song for today's topic is because if you pay attention to a lot of these old love songs, one of the most positive things that comes from them is it explains what love is, and sometimes what love isn't. Now, if you take this one in particular, they told us that it's a beam of light that's shining into the universe, that energy of love. They told us that it's a blessing, it's a gift, and it's a miracle, but it's a mystery. And so many of us expect to find this miracle, this blessing. And miracles happen every day. So it's not like it's impossible. But I think that the problem is many of us forget the sacred nature of love. And that's why we have heartbreak. That's why we have these situations that don't last or are unfulfilling. Because we try to get something sacred from somebody who's not capable, or we're not ready for it. And sometimes a combination of both. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the sacredness of love. And I'm going to read to you something that someone sent me. But first, I'm going to do the introduction. Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Asking Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Pass it on to somebody else who might like it too. And don't forget to drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end of the video if you can, because I'm going to read and respond to 2 of my favorite positive comments from previous videos. And you might want to hear what it is that I have to say. Underneath this video, if you would like to get a reading, underneath this video is my email and my social media. Please send me a message on either one. Underneath this video is my PayPal, my Patreon information, my Amazon wish list, a whole bunch of other stuff that you might be interested in or might not be. But if you are, check out underneath this video, okay? All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about what I was sent. So apparently there's a woman that wrote a book, an African-American woman, and she wrote a book, and the book is called Single That, okay? And I didn't read the book, but somebody sent me a picture of an excerpt from the book and asked me if I would read it and respond to it, okay? And it's pretty interesting. I like it a lot. I think I do want to read this book, but I got a stack of them. So I got to work down this stack a little bit before I allow myself to buy another book. But this one I think is going to be really good. So let's take a look at this quote. The quote from the book says, "Perhaps the issue is not the intensity of our love or our capacity to receive it, but the people with whom we been attempting to make such a sacred exchange. There's that word sacred again. So what is this saying to us? Let's start from the beginning. Perhaps the issue is not the intensity of our love. A lot of people come to me for readings and, other conversations and advice. And one of the things that happens is some of them will start to think it's something wrong with them, or is something wrong with the way they want to be loved. Is something wrong with how they show up in relationships. It's wrong for them to expect their partner to be a partner. So they start to think, when a person has been in a bad relationship, or they've been in a starved relationship, or no relationship at all, some of people start to think that it's their fault, that maybe I'm too intense, or maybe I'm, expecting too much from my partner, or something along those lines. So in this first line, she's like, perhaps maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not you. The next part says, or our capacity to receive. The next thing that happens is people are like, well, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe this is a miracle. Maybe this is a blessing that the universe just doesn't have in store for me. I hear people all the time, especially Aquarius women. Aquarius women tell me this all the time. I hear them say, maybe that's just not for me. Maybe I'm not supposed to be. And the truth is, yes, some people, that is the truth. Some people are supposed to do something else, or have a whole different life plan that they laid out for themselves and are not actually living as part of their life purpose. But it's not all of them. Some of them, yeah. But other ones, it's the fact that they now believe that they can't even receive love because somebody made them feel unlovable once upon a time. A parent, a lover, somebody, or somebodies in most cases, has made them feel uncherished, unloved, unsacred. So they're feeling like they can't even receive it. Like there's something wrong with me. Every time I meet the wrong person, the wrong guy, the wrong girl, and they start to think it's them. But she's saying, maybe not. She's saying that perhaps it's the people that you choose to attempt to have something sacred with. Because remember, the street got to go both ways. So you have to come correct, and the other person has to come correct. You see? And that's why I said, let's talk about this sacredness of love. Love is sacred. It's a blessing. You're not going to find it with everybody you come across. You're not going to find it with just, every gentleman caller or female caller that you have. It's always possible. The possibility is always out there. But the mentality that I see is that people just think that it's just going to pop up, and everybody doesn't have that sacredness in them. Everybody doesn't value love in that way. Everybody doesn't see it in the same way. Everybody isn't willing to give and receive it. You see, some people are emotionally hurt, turned off, whatever the case is. And here you come bebopping down the street trying to get them to love you. And they aren't capable because they're too wounded to engage in something so sacred. That's why Friends with Benefits is such a big thing, because it gives all of us the ability to get some sacred benefits without stepping up to a sacred commitment. That's why it's so popular. It's like, ooh, I can get benefits without all the responsibility. That's why it's popular. And that's why most of the time it doesn't work. Because you're tapping into something, especially if it's on a emotional, because these situations usually don't start off emotional, but they generally go to that space. It's virtually impossible to come together with somebody time and time and time again And that energy, you're absorbing each other's energy. Even if you don't want to be with that person and you just like spending time with them intimately, you're still absorbing their energy. It's impossible not to. Even on like a scientific level, they'll tell you, like, you know, their fluids and their skin and all that kind of stuff. You're taking it into yourself. So the problem is that we're getting with people and we want something sacred and the other person does not, is not capable of it. Or we want something that we're not even capable of. I've always wanted something sacred, but I've never been at a point where I was ready for it. Now, I didn't know that. When I was trying to make it happen, I didn't realize I wasn't ready. I didn't realize I wasn't ready until I got ready, which was years later, like years and years and years later, you know? So I think a lot of us want it, but we're not even ready for it. And then we get with somebody else who's not ready for it, and we try to do some resemblance of it, some kind of dance, you know, something resembling it, and then it doesn't work, and now our feelings are hurt, and now we blame in love. It's love's fault. No, it's not love's fault. Like she said, it's our fault for attempting something sacred with an unsacred situation. Okay? When you do a ritual, you know, as priestesses, we do rituals all the time. And certain things are sacred and certain things are mundane. When I do a sacred ancient ritual, it is something that there's a seriousness to it. There's a devotion to it. There's a commitment to it. I couldn't come to Goddess to do a sacred ritual and I'm not committed in my heart. And that's what happens with our relationships. We come to someone and we want them to be committed to us in their heart, and we want to be committed to them, but it's all these boundaries up. And sometimes, like it says here, it's just not the right person. But it's not love's fault. It's that you're attempting to love the wrong person. I guarantee you, many of you are loving the wrong person right now. Guarantee it. I will put money on it. And some of you are aware of it, but you're doing it anyway because you want something sacred. And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to get something sacred from that temporary situation. So work on yourself and use the law of attraction to draw someone to you who you can attempt a sacred union with. You can't do this with everybody. Just because somebody's good in bed or you really like them a lot or you have a great connection with them, it doesn't mean y'all can create and establish a sacred union. A union, a sacred union, is a partnership. It's not just loving the person. See, it takes love and it expands it, because you have to love, you have to be devoted, you have to be committed. It expands it that much. I love my mother. I love my mother very much. I love my sister. I love my brother. I love a lot of people, actually, now that I'm lining it up. But I would not have a partnership with any of them. If any of them came to me and said, hey, let's open a business, I would be like, hell no. And you know why? Because I can't have a partnership with them. No matter how much I love them, I know that a partnership is going to be a disaster. It's a very similar vibration. You might care about some guy, or you might really be into some girl. You might even be in love with them. But a partnership, a sacred partnership, is not going to happen. And you already know that. You're just hanging around and doing what you do, hoping it might change. And for some people, one or both of you will do your work and you'll get ready and there go your sacred union. But for a lot of people, unfortunately, It doesn't happen because the other person or you don't do what you need to do to make it happen. And you can't do your work for the other person. Everybody has to do their own work and then come together. So I like this quote a lot. I like this a lot. I want to read this book, and she's 100% correct. If you're trying to achieve something sacred, it's going to be a whole different energy. That's why I'm single, y'all. Because I know what it's going to take to get what I want. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not half stepping. I'm going to step. I'm going to step correct, or I'm not going to step at all. All right, guys. So now we're going to talk about our 2 positive comments. One came from Srijani Goswami. I think I said that right. Srijani, oh my God, you just told our story. My Aquarius lover cooked for me with so much love that whenever I think about it, it melts my heart. So much love to you, Queen. An Aquarius cook for you, man. You did pretty good, man. That's an Aquarius who must really be into you, because that's a very intimate act. I mean, some people wouldn't think so. Somebody that cooks every day or cooks for a living, they may or may not think so. But for an Aquarius like me who doesn't cook often, if you get a meal out of me, you did something. Yeah, that's some serious situation. Siberia Swan. Hey, Siberia. Siberia said, cheating is not just a mistake. Hell no. It's like you say, Queen. It's a fundamental lack of integrity. It definitely is. This girl should have never stayed with him if all she was going to do was lie. This comment is about a video I did last week about a Aquarius woman who was with a Capricorn guy, and she was cheating on him and had been cheating the whole relationship. I hope he leaves her eventually, because I'm sure she won't stop, since this is obviously a habit of hers. I wish that poor Cap the best. Me too. It is a habit. She said it's a habit. I mean, she didn't lie to me at all. She told me everything. She was straight up. And she said it is a habit. And, you know, she's always cheated. She's never been faithful in any of her relationships, which I can understand, because I was never faithful in any of mine until I started to get with women. Then I was like, oh shit, this kind of serious. So then I started to be like, okay, but I also matured a lot by then, and I understood the importance of fidelity, or at least being honest if I didn't want to be in a monogamous situation. But I was older by the time I got that. So I'm hoping that because she's a young Aquarius, that maybe this situation and all the things that she's going to lose from it, I'm hoping that that's going to help her. Some of the times experience is the only teacher that an Aquarius will listen to, you know? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So please come back soon, because I have a lot more to say. See you later.